What's going on, everyone? Lowell Gluckle here, getting it done in the gym as always. Back, biceps, and calves today. You may be wondering why I do calves with back and biceps. That's mainly because after an intense and grueling leg workout, the last thing I usually want to do is train calves. So I've been doing it after back and biceps for a while now. It seems to be working well. As you can see here, I started off with supported barbell rows, and if you guys haven't tried this, I would definitely recommend it. One thing I like about it is it takes the stress off my lower back, allows me to activate my lats better. And the one thing you want to ensure is that you adjust to the bench so that you're getting a full range of motion, or at least close to a full range, because odds are your arms are probably longer than mine, and so you have to raise the bench some, which is going to change the angle of the lift a little bit, but you should still be able to activate your lats well. You're definitely not going to be able to use as much weight as you would on a standing barbell row, but those of you that are willing to put your egos aside, I think will definitely benefit from this movement. So as you guys watch the rest of this video, I'm just going to talk a little bit about my journey in bodybuilding, how I gravitated towards it, and what bodybuilding means to me personally. Now, growing up, I was always very active. I played a lot of sports, football, basketball, etc. And football was a big passion of mine starting at a young age. And as you guys may or may not know, I'm also very short. I'm only 5'3", so I was always kind of subject to that premature judgment of my ability based on my height. Because let's face it, being a short athlete is perceived as a liability. So I always had kind of a chip on my shoulder, and I always strived to make up for my lack of height in other areas such as my work ethic, focus, and determination. So in a way, that perceived liability helped create my greatest strengths and attributes. So I did my best to always go above and beyond in order to make people realize that my height wasn't going to limit me in any way or hold me back. So with that being said, I always did very well in sports, and it was my 10th grade year where I actually realized that I enjoyed the off-season weight training program more than the sport itself. And I felt like I was just continuing to play football because that's what was expected of me, because I was doing it for such a long time, and I didn't want to let anybody down. But I ended up getting to the point where I stopped playing football and pursued powerlifting. I was always naturally very strong. Um, the bench press was a very good lift for me. I have really good biomechanics for it. And I started powerlifting. I did very well over the span of a few years, set a couple bench press American records. I didn't take the squat or deadlift as serious back then. But from there, I gradually transitioned to bodybuilding. And it was my senior year where I gravitated towards it completely. And I did my first competition my senior year of high school. And I remember watching a video, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, of Ronnie Coleman. It was either him squatting or deadlifting 800 pounds, but that really sparked my interest. And, I said when I saw that video, I said that's what I want to do. I want to try this out. I always enjoyed trying new things. And I didn't have much guidance at the time. I had a lot of muscle, but I didn't know a lot about the nutrition aspect. I knew you obviously had to take a meticulous approach to your nutrition to do well in bodybuilding, but I didn't know to what extent. And I ended up getting last place in my first show, which devastated me. I was very dispirited afterwards, but I didn't allow it to deter me from my goals or passion. Pick myself up, move forward. I ended up connecting with somebody at my gym that helped me get into shape for my next competition, which was a few months later, and I ended up winning it. And from there, I just got progressively better each year, and my passion for bodybuilding just kept growing. And for me personally, it's not about the vanity aspect that a lot of outsiders perceive it to be, because in order to live this lifestyle and do what we do, to push ourselves to the absolute limit each day in the gym, and to then go home and make sure that we're getting our meals in and our nutrition is adequate, there has to be some sort of intrinsic motivation and drive to do this. If you're just focused on the extrinsic things like losing weight or looking good for other people, then I don't think you'll be able to sustain the motivation required to do this. There has to be a passion for this. You have to love the challenge and the transcending of barriers, mentally and physically. That's what bodybuilding is primarily about for me. And it always gave me goals to work for. It kept me focused, and it helped me live in the realization of the greater things that I knew I had the power to do. And I love competing, but that's mainly secondary for me. The biggest thing I like about competing is the journey to the stage. I always believe that the satisfaction lies primarily in the pursuit of a goal, not the attainment, because it's the pursuit that makes that achievement of the goal worthwhile. That commitment and determination and work ethic, that's where the significance lies. And that's what it's all about for me. Bodybuilding is a journey of self-development, and that hard work and commitment is really where the character growth comes from.